Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with an update video. We'll have a bit of a chat about what's going on around the country at the moment, and believe me, there is plenty happening, especially when it comes to the relationship between Spain and its neighbouring country to the south, Morocco. So we'll have a little bit of a chat about that and some other things. Now I'm on my way today to a place called Chinchon. I'm scouting for a video location. I have to record a few videos over the next few weeks, so I'm looking for some good locations to record those videos in. And apparently a famous US director, Wes Anderson, is also going to film a movie in Chinchon. So we'll see if we can find his set there. So let's get the video underway. Now I'm on the Valencia highway again today. Going to be traveling down this highway about maybe 20 kilometers. Then I'm going to turn inland and head towards Chinchon. I'm back in the automatic again today. Very comfortable ride, I must tell you. A few people curious about which car I have at the moment, or which car I'm driving. It is a Skoda, only a 1-litre engine, petrol, and as I said, automatic transmission. And after driving a manual car for the last 12 years here, it is a big difference, I'll tell you that. It's not a bad car, it's quite smooth, travels quite well, has the power that I need at least. And the automatic gearbox here also gives you the option to change gears if you want to have that sensation. Of course, there's no clutch, and there's also a sport mode. If you need a little bit of extra grunt to get up hills and things like that, you can kick it into sport mode. So not a bad car, and a little bit quieter than the Subaru as well, or at least that's what I'm noticing. So it was a huge day for news yesterday in Spain. Of course, with all of those problems that they're having down there in the north of Africa, in the autonomous city of Ceuta. There's 2 autonomous cities down there that Spain has. One is called Ceuta, the other one is called Melilla. I think Melilla also had a few problems, but not as bad as the ones yesterday in Ceuta. And according to the press you read yesterday, it was either an invasion or a humanitarian crisis. So if you believe the Vox line or the more right-wing line, it was an invasion. Morocco invaded Spain yesterday. But if you believe the more moderate press or the left-wing press, even, it was a humanitarian crisis. 5,000 people, I think, or even more. I think it got up to 7,000 people at the end, crossing the border, swimming into Ceuta. And of course, the police weren't ready for an influx of that many people. And the government had to mobilize the troops down there in Ceuta to take care of the situation, basically to stop more people coming in. And apparently it's all related to a problem that Spain has with Morocco regarding the West Sahara region. That is a territory which is up for dispute. I think Morocco claims it. I think they also claim independence. I'm not going to go into the politics of it because politics can get a little bit sensitive, and I don't want negative feedback about this topic because I'm not an expert on it. But apparently there is a separatist movement there that is fighting against Morocco. Can't remember the name of the group. I think it's Polisario, I think. And the leader of that group fell sick with COVID and he was admitted to a Spanish hospital. And that led to Morocco basically taking away the controls that they have on their side of the border and allowing people to cross the border without any control. And there were some very strong words from the Spanish Prime Minister yesterday, or the President of the government, as they call him here in the press. Prime Minister, I think he is, Pedro Sánchez. And he said that he is going to defend the integrity of Spain or Ceuta at all costs. So shooting one across Morocco's bow. And of course, Morocco retaliated. And of course, it was a bit of a problem yesterday if you were living in Ceuta, of course, because some 7,000 people coming into that part of the world when the population there is only around 80,000. And it led to a lot of businesses not opening because people didn't really feel safe with groups of young people roaming the streets. And the situation basically was not under control. And one of the things that shocked me personally was the images of all of the children that were being rescued by the services down there, the Red Cross, the police, the army, dragging them out of the water. Sometimes they were, even babies. I think there were images of 9-month-old babies being dragged out of the water. So you could classify it as a humanitarian crisis, of course. And it just goes to show how desperate people are to cross that border. And let's be honest, Morocco plays with that fact. They seem not to care about the humanitarian side of the equation. They seem to allow women and children to jump in the water, risk their lives, swim to Spain. So it appears that they don't care about that side of the story, and all they're interested in are the political gains that they are going to get with that West Sahara region, of course pressuring Spain. But according to the Home Minister here in Spain, the relationship between Spain and Morocco is good. But judging by what happened yesterday, I don't know if that is the case or not. So we'll see where this one ends up. I also saw that the United States came out in support of Morocco. Joe Biden apparently said something that they were supporting Morocco on the issue. So that's also not positive for Spain. But Spain had the support, of course, of the European Union. And the European Union yesterday saying that that is a European border, of course, and Morocco apparently violating the agreement that they have with the European Union. So again, we'll see where this one ends up. Now I'm getting off the highway here because I think this is where I have to get off. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't got the Google Maps working, so playing it by street directions here, so we'll see how we go. I think I'm on the right track. So heading to Chinchon. And as I mentioned, the American director Wes Anderson, I think he's a fairly famous director. Not really familiar with too many of his movies. I remember one about 20 years ago called The Tenenbaums, I think, but I haven't really seen much of his work since then. And apparently he has set up a movie set in Chinchon to film a movie over the summer. Nobody knows what the movie's about, but apparently it's a Western set. But people are questioning whether it's a Western or not, so a bit confusing. And why he chose Chinchon, I do not know. Now on the vaccine saga that is the AstraZeneca vaccine, the government here in Spain decided yesterday that they are not going to inject people with a second dose of AstraZeneca. They're going to give people Pfizer. Remember that there's something like 1 million people maybe that have received that first dose of AstraZeneca. The European Medicines Agency says it's okay to inject the second dose with AstraZeneca, but Spain has decided not to do that, and that was announced yesterday. And Madrid is not happy. They've threatened to use AstraZeneca on the group of people that have that one dose. I don't know what's going to happen around the rest of the country. Most of the autonomous communities, I imagine, are going to follow what the Ministry of Health said yesterday, inject people with Pfizer. So again, a bit strange. I think I've said that 3 times in the last 10 minutes, but things are still very, very strange, especially when it comes to AstraZeneca, which, as I mentioned last week, is the black sheep of the vaccines. And a few people that I have spoken to that received that first dose of AstraZeneca are not happy about being vaccinated with another vaccine. I think a lot of people here would prefer to be vaccinated with that second dose of AstraZeneca rather than another vaccine. But that's the feedback that I've got. But I suppose there are people that don't really care and just want to complete that vaccination as soon as possible. I haven't received my phone call yet or my SMS. I am expecting it. I was speaking to a lady the other day whose husband is 55 and he was vaccinated on Monday with the Moderna vaccine, and it's Moderna or Pfizer for the 50 to 59s. I thought it was going to be Janssen, that's what we were told last week, but apparently that is not the case. Pfizer or Moderna. So when that SMS comes through, I'll let you guys know, but nothing yet. Now there were also quite a few comments yesterday about the alcohol debate. I can't remember why this topic popped up, but somebody compared the amount of alcohol people drink in Spain with the amount of alcohol people drink in Australia. And I said I'm not sure which country drinks the most alcohol per capita or litres per capita or however they work that out. But somebody wrote in the comment section that Australia beat Spain just, I think it was 10.5 litres for Australians and 10.1 or something like that for Spain. So Australians drink more alcohol than the Spanish. But I researched it a bit more and found out that Spain is the #1 country in the world when it comes to gin consumption, and Spain is also the #1 country in the world when it comes to beer consumption. But apparently in Australia they drink more wine, which is surprising because I thought Spain was a wine drinking country as well. But Apparently in Australia they drink more wine. And having a look at that ranking of countries, it was interesting to see that Portugal is above both Australia and Spain. Ireland was right up there at the top of the list as well, I think in position number 5 or 6. The UK was also above both Spain and Australia. So there are countries in the world that do drink more alcohol than this one and Australia. But I know that in Australia people drink a lot of alcohol. I see it every time I go back. People here also drink a lot of alcohol. But what I mentioned yesterday was that the drinking styles are different in my opinion. Here it seems to be a very slow-paced drinking, start early, finish late, whereas in Australia it tends to be more intense, the drinking. So that's one of the main differences as well. Now I think we're in Chinchon, I'm not sure. Let me see if I can see a street sign here. I think so. So we'll see if we can find this movie set. Slow down to 50, which is the maximum speed in this town. Now, if you are ever in this part of the world, the Madrid community, I recommend a visit to this part of Spain, Chinchon. It's quite an interesting place to spend a day. I wouldn't really want to spend any more than a day here. There is a nice parador. We'll just go around the city and see if we can find this movie set. I don't know whether it's going to be easy to find or not, but we'll see. Apparently it's on the outskirts of the city. And there it is, over there on the right. Don't know if you guys can see that there, but that's the film set. Not very developed, but that's what it is. And it does seem to be a set that has a Western feel to it, as they've got a couple of artificial rock type formations over there. So interesting. All right, so there we go. We found the film set. Start to head back to Madrid. I've also found some nice places to record my videos over the next few weeks. So when I release those, you'll be able to see this particular part of the world as well. So I'll start to wrap the video up there. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the situation out as you normally do. Hope you liked the drive today. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.